For this video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at prepositions. So the grammar is not going to be difficult for this part, but there is a lot to remember. So it is difficult in the sense that there's a lot of new words. I'd like to go over them first. Remember that a preposition is a word that describes either time or a place. So in this case, we're looking at prepositions of place. You have to look at where the ball is in relation to the table. So in this case, the first one is en, which means in or on in Spanish. It can be both. Or encima de. The second one is under, debajo de. Now we have to the left, a la izquierda de. To the right, a la derecha de. Or we can say al lado de, which means to the side of or next to. Enfrente de is in front. Detrás de is behind. And entre is in between. Entry is unique because you need to have two references. You have to say it's between point A and point B. Now I really like to work with these because there's more than one possibility. It depends on what reference you're using, because if we take a look at the first one, ¿Dónde está el hospital? Where is the hospital? In our example answer, el hospital está al lado del hotel. The hospital is next to the hotel. That's one possibility. I could also say the hospital is behind the parking lot. I could say the hospital is in front of the bank. There's many different possibilities, and I can still be right depending on what my reference is or how I'm looking at it. I'd like to go ahead and practice these. One thing that you want to notice is we are using the verb estar because we're talking about location. So remember we used that before when we were talking about temporary conditions. The other big use for it is a location. So when we do these sentences, we're going to start with the first place. Then we're going to use estar conjugated for he, she, or it, está. And then we'll put our preposition next to, in front of, behind, etc. And then we're going to put our second place. So if I look at number 2, ¿Dónde está el banco? First I want to locate the bank on the map. It's back here. And then I want to decide what I'm going to use for my reference, because that's going to determine the preposition. So let's say I'm going to use the hospital. I'm going to start with el banco. This is all about the bank. Está. Now what relation does the bank have to the hospital? I think the best description for me would be behind. So I'm going to use detrás de. Detrás de. And then hospital. Now, normally I would put el hospital, but since I have I'm going to have a contraction here. There's only 2 contractions in the Spanish language. A contraction is when you combine 2 words like can't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't, mustn't. Well, there's only 2 of them, but we're going to see one a lot here because day and L will become del. So we're going to see them a lot because most of these are ending with day. So if the next reference happens to be masculine, which this one does, we're going to take day and L. Instead, we're going to write del. El banco está detrás del hospital. And that's just because the sounds are so similar, they're going to get pushed together anyway. Let me edit this. Detrás del hospital. Now that's one possibility. There's more than one, like I said. Let's try another one. ¿Dónde está la escuela? So I'm going to locate la escuela, the school. And it's right here. Again, I have many possibilities. But I think I'm going to use next to. And this is the dentist's office. La escuela está, my preposition is al lado de, al lado de. Now this next one is going to be la oficina, so I don't have to worry about making a contraction. La oficina del dentista. But if you notice right here, instead of saying de el dentista, I am doing a contraction here. De el becoming del is something that you're just going to have to get used to, and it's going to come up and you're going to see it in a lot of different ways, especially the names of places, restaurants, and things like that. So I'd like for you to go ahead and try to describe the answers to these questions. You'll notice that after number 5, 6 through 10 have a slightly different format. It's asking what ¿qué está? What is detrás del hospital? What is behind the hospital? And in this case, you're only going to have to answer with the place. You're not going to have to do the whole entire sentence. I'd like for you to go ahead and try that for practice. And remember, you can have more than one answer and you can still be correct. You just have to decide based on your references if it makes sense.